mean, if you think of the extent of the ones that he's actually had, you know what I mean? Like, it was part of his nature to show up and perform a particular kind of, you know, sort of version of self. And there's not really any space for him to express any sort of pain anyway. There's not, you know. And so, I mean, if you think of the way Nosrat is understood as someone who is quite fractious and emotional and so forth, but there's almost a kind of sense that he's almost practically a child, right? You know, the men do not show up like that. So I think basically my feeling is that, I mean, blackness is primarily is fundamentally a political term that is rebranded repeatedly as an essentialist construct. Right. And I think that does great, I mean, it is ultimately, I think that does great harm to our understanding of just ourselves, and not just as, you know, as black people, I mean, as people, you know, more broadly. I think you know, these frameworks of white, black, or like are shifting forms of categorization that are used to valorize like oppression. So whenever I hear people going, well, we should, you know, allow for yellow, I'm like, no, this is a framework that will erase your geography, history, ancestry, and justify whether or not people oppress you. Like, these are not good categories. I think that we get to the point of, you know, an anti-racist space when those are left behind and they are terms of historical significance, right? Like, you know, the word Negro, no one's calling each other that anymore. We recognize where it's at in history, but it doesn't, you know, and that has a really interesting etymology, right? I mean, it's association with like death and sort of darkness and whatever. Like, exactly. We don't use that term anymore to describe people, right? Like, it doesn't. And when you think of blackness, it is literally historically like inaccurate and false. Like, it just doesn't tell anyone anything biologically about someone. It doesn't talk very much about